And with that, I would like to welcome my friend and colleague, Brett Kincairn, to the stage. Welcome, Brett.
Hi, everybody. Brett Kincairn. I'm with the City of Boulder's Climate Initiatives Department, Nature-Based Solutions team. I have 5 minutes to summarize 3 years of work we've been doing that I've been talking with you about every year. So we've been talking about this large landscape scale desertification risk assessment that we've been trying to do to give us a sense of whether we can see how our landscapes are changing in the context of climate change. Wow, I didn't know I'd go that fast. Okay, so we have finished, which is the great news. And in fact, we have a report now, which you can see. So I've left my, let's see. Okay, green is go, red is back. There we go. Okay. Oops. Could somebody put me into presenter mode? Okay, so what were the objectives? The objectives of this study were to see whether or not we could see the condition of land through satellites in a way that our land manager said, yep, that's what it looks like to me too. Could we then see our land change? Can we see whether our lands are actually trending in a direction that we need to be really careful about, especially with a warming world? And finally, could we actually then find ways that we could identify those sites that were most vulnerable in this context? So this is our land area that we analyzed. This is basically the resource conservation districts between Boulder and Longmont. So this is a snapshot of land condition in 2023. Keep an eye on this because we're going to now say, okay, now we did 20 years of data so we could see, does this satellite-based information correspond to what we know happened? Well, let's go back to 2002, dry year. Well, everything that's brown, tan, that is an area that is struggling. Everything that's sort of lighter green or green is actually doing pretty well. So 2002, not surprising, we saw that we actually had real trouble. 2014, year after the flood, the land actually responded really well. Okay, we're starting to see we can see those kind of condition changes. 2020, again, a year that was pretty dry. We start to see that land starting to respond again. Okay, so you can go back and forth. This is 2023. Oops, this is 2020. So we can say, all right, we're starting to see condition in a way that we have some confidence in. So one of the things we discovered that we did not expect, nobody on this team, a bunch of scientists and others had actually been aware of this. We discovered that in this period of time, our spring moisture has increased, or just in the last 10 years, by about an inch and a half. Not annually, we haven't gotten more over the year. We're just getting more in the spring, which if we want to do restoration activities, this is the best possible time to get more water. So let's talk a little bit more about specific sites. So we're going to go to an area, this is in the sort of lookout road between 75th and 95th. I want to use this site to start to see, can we then use this to think about management? So we can actually look at each one of these parcels and see what its behavior was over each year of this time frame. We can actually then start to get a characterization of the entire area to say where's generally okay, where's not so okay that we should be focusing on. And what are the conditions overall? So we were able to characterize all of the lands both within OSMP and our Boulder County partners, which is, by the way, we did this together. I want to call out our colleagues at the county for this. So now, we can see condition, can we see trend? So this is an actual depiction of where are the parcels or the pixels where we actually see things going in a positive direction, blue, or a negative direction. And then let's look at this more closely, again, in that lookout road area. This starts to tell us as land managers, are there areas here that we should be worried about? Anything that's brown or tan, yes, that's a worry area. Well, now where do we have irrigation? Well, let's take a look at that. We actually mapped all of the irrigation in this area. So go back here again. That's without irrigation. All of these parcels that are bounded are irrigated parcels. But we went a step further to say which of those parcels are senior water rights versus junior water rights. So everything that's a more purplish is a junior water right, therefore a little bit more at risk, versus a green, which is a senior water right. And now let's look at this area again. So now we can actually say, okay, where am I at risk? Okay, there's my trends. Anything that's blue is okay, red's not going so well. Where am I irrigated? Okay, I now know, okay. And where do I actually have junior water rights versus senior water rights? So we think we now have a tool with which we as land managers can start to see change both at a large scale and start to see that at the parcel scale, and where we actually see those risks that you as land managers can then start responding to. So again, I just want to finish that off for you. This is 3 years of work. Thanks so much to our county partners and all the others who have participated in helping make this possible. Thank you. 5 minutes?
anybody knows Brett, that was amazing. All right, our next speaker is also a friend and colleague. Would Heather Swanson please come to the stage? Oh, there she is. Okay, great. Heather Swanson, I'll let her introduce herself, but she's here to speak on behalf of City of Boulder Open Space and Mountain Parks.
Thank you, Lauren. I just want to welcome you all here today. My name is Heather Swanson. I'm one of the deputy directors at City of Boulder Open Space and Mountain Parks Department. And Lauren gave the sponsors a chance to just say a few words. Last year, I went through a fairly extensive presentation about our program and what we do with agriculture. So today I'm going to keep it pretty brief, but I just want to say a huge thank you to the organizers. I know this is a huge undertaking every single year, and to bring this many people together and bring in really high quality speakers, I think it's just amazing that they can do it year after year. And I want to thank all of you for taking your day to be here. So Open Space and Mountain Parks and the City of Boulder have been working on agricultural land management for decades. And working with our agricultural community and our broader Boulder community to conserve agricultural lands and to work on the best ways to support local farmers and ranchers and manage those lands for sustainability. But I think that that program has really evolved a lot over the years. And I think in the last decade or so, all of you have seen the changes that we have within our agricultural community and the Boulder community in general, as far as really putting an emphasis on regenerative agriculture, sustainable agriculture, and really functioning at that intersection between agriculture and our natural environment and natural ecosystems. And so I think we have been so fortunate at the City of Boulder to have such a vibrant community that is interested in these ideas, is innovative and enthusiastic, and is willing to partner with us as we all sort of learn a lot in the space of soil health, regenerative agriculture, sustainable agriculture, and really taking good care of our lands long into the future. So as a department, as I said, we have felt very fortunate to have such amazing partners that we can work with. And I think this conference is one of the examples of really the opportunities that we have to come together, to learn, to innovate, to try things, oftentimes to fail, but then to other times find those successes and really move forward everybody's understanding of how to do this in a way that is going to really steward these lands for the long term and for future generations, while providing our local producers with lands where they can make a living, and also to provide amazing, nutritious food for our local communities. So I just really want to thank all of you for the role that you play in this, and thank you for being here to learn, to share what you've learned in the past, and to really look towards the future and all the great work that we can all do together in this space. So thank you.
My name is Vanessa McCracken, and I'm also an Ag Program Manager for the City of Boulder Open Space and Mountain Parks. And I'm here to introduce our last platinum sponsor for the Soil Revolution Conference, Boulder County. Boulder County Parks and Open Space has supported this program from the very beginning. And Therese Glowacki, who has served Parks and Open Space for 26 years and is retiring next week, will be giving remarks for Boulder County. Therese?
Thank you, Vanessa. Vanessa worked for Boulder County when she first joined the Soil Revolution. So we definitely, as Heather said, we have been partners, City of Boulder, Boulder County, NRCS, and a host of other, CSU Extension. So I have slides, hopefully.
Yep, you do.
Well, I'm glad that Brett talked so quickly, because he said he was going to cover 3 years of research in 5 minutes. Well, I'm going to cover 50 years of open space in 5 minutes. Boulder County celebrated our 50th anniversary, Boulder County Parks and Open Space. So it's been 50 years. In that 50 years, we have conserved 108,000 acres of open space land. Yep. For 50 years, we've been restoring our natural environment. We've been doing creek restoration. We've restored forests. We've restored mine areas like just south of Lyons as you drive up Highway 7. But what we are embarking on now is working lands conservation. And I want to give a special shout out to our staff, including Aaron and Trent, who are on the committee, on the Soil Revolution Organizing Committee, and Lindsay as well with CSU Extension. And go ahead, next slide, or can I? Okay, let me tell you, this is not the slideshow that I thought I uploaded. So I'm gonna compete with Brett, because Brett usually had 5,000 slides. So here we go, working lands conservation. That's what we are embarking upon. We are now looking at our agricultural lands. We have 26,000 acres of agricultural land, and we are now merging the work of our producers with the work of our land conservationists. And like wildlife habitat, water management, stream management. Oh, this is really gonna be not what I planned. And this is my last presentation before I retire. So why are we doing this? Well, there are alarming declines in grassland birds. It is shocking. In our grassland birds, it is the largest decline of any wildlife birds throughout the whole country. More than aquatic birds, forest birds, look at that, 53%. We have lost half of our grassland bird species in the last 50 years. And agriculture can be a part of restoring this, of changing this trend. Here is the picture of our open space. This is the 50 years. All the green and light green is what we have conserved over this time. 26,000 acres of agriculture land. Don't read. We have 28 grazing leases, 12,000 acres, and 81 properties. This is part of our agriculture program that has 60 different leaseholders, and as I said, 26 acres. So what we're doing now is we're revising our grazing plans, and we are targeting those bird species so that sometimes we will have heavier grazing for the species that like overgrazed or short grass, and leaving areas vacant so we can have the taller grass for other species. These grazing plans are gonna help with fire mitigation, vegetation management, and invasive species. We are also working on Preble's meadow jumping mouse habitat, and we've done this in collaboration. We had areas that were overgrazed, no vegetation along the stream creeks. We fenced out those areas and kept cattle out, and within 3 years, we had Preble's meadow jumping mice back in those restoration areas. So we're incorporating this on a broader scale throughout our agriculture land. We heard Jay talk about how much he loves monitoring. We're monitoring. And what our goal is to tie this back to climate and resilience. With healthy soils, healthy ag management, working lands conservation, there'll be more adapted for the climate change, which is changing, and it will help mitigate climate change by all the stuff we've been talking about this morning, the soil conservation. So that is my presentation, Boulder County moving into working lands. Thank you all again, all the organizers, fabulous conference again this year, and it's been a wonderful, wonderful 10 years of this conference. So thank you very much.